If you look at the New York Times and the front page and the 5th page and the 8th page, every story that's happening is Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine. I think history is really being made in this part of the world. This just felt like a great way to sort of get under the hood of this crazy engine of the Middle East that's in such turmoil right now.
Rosie, it's Barry. I'm coming for my nephew's wedding.
I'm not going. You're going.
Promise me we'll come back.
What?
Promise me we'll come back.
You know, the challenge is it's a show that is set in this fictional country in a very real Middle East, and so it's a bit of a mashup or a bit of a collage, which could threaten to be reductive sometimes. But people are going to see it. It's going to be a Rorschach test, I'm sure, and so that's really the minefield that we've chosen to wade into.
Do you have any idea what's happening here, Bassam? Your father claims that he's defending us from the Brotherhood and the Zionists.
What do you want from me? I'm a pediatrician.
You're an Al-Fayed. They are your family.
Yes, that's why I left.
I hope that it's demonstrating that we don't have all the answers for this. I mean, I think that's the most important thing about this show. The most important responsibility is to not come across as saying, well, look, if you just brought a Western person in here to run everything will be fine. I hope they realize quickly that we're actually doing very much and very consciously the reverse.
We don't just want to portray the side of that culture that is violent and, you know, and the sort of terrorism side as a whole. We really want to delve into the real lives and their real stories.
I think it's something that talks about what we live nowadays in the Middle East and in the world in general, so it's something I care about and I have a lot connection to.
I feel very honored and privileged to experience this as an Israeli because I get to learn the other side. Hearing Arabic stories of women that have lived here, lived there, I'm much more open and maybe that's what the show is about. It's not with an agenda necessarily, but it's just like, this is a story. And this is how you can be educated about a very complex world.
You ran away from your father when you were 16, and you're still running.
Barry is fairly hard on himself, and he's not just exiled himself from his homeland, he's actually exiled himself from himself, some essential part of himself. So this is about, well, how do people choose to be governed or allow themselves to be governed? And what's the place of tyranny in the context of the Arab Spring? Also, you know, what's the tyranny inside a family? And what's our tyranny with ourselves?
All of these solutions that we think are so obvious and the supremacy of the Western democratic ideal, it is unfortunately just impossible to just ship that over and expect it to work. I think that if we can show this guy realizing that power, or experiencing the corruption of absolute power and going on that journey, then I think that would be very exciting. Ultimately, in a show like this, the only solution is not to provide solutions, because you're only going to look a fool. Unfortunately, you know, it would be nice to think that FX could come up with the formula for solving the problems in the Middle East, but that might be a little much to ask.
I think that's probably a lot, much.